On July 2nd, Neptune in Pisces stationed retrograde, where it will be traveling backwards for about 5 months until December 7th of 2024. Yes, Neptune goes retrograde every year, but this particular retrograde is significant, is important. This is why I wanted to do this video for you, because Neptune is now at 29 degrees of Pisces, the very last anaretic degree of the very last sign, the emotional water sign of Pisces, the very last sign of the zodiac, meaning that we are wrapping up a cycle that began in 2011. 2011, we began the cycle of spiritual growth and lessons, a cycle of ascension, of spiritual evolution. We are now wrapping the cycle up. We are preparing for a new 185-year cycle that begins March 2025 when Neptune enters the pioneering, just say yes, fiery sign of Aries, the sign of brand new beginnings and rebirth. So during this Neptune retrograde transit, you could feel like the new timeline, your ascension, you moving into a new phase of your life is very real. It could feel more palpable to you. And it could feel like an important spiritual lesson, a lesson of your growth that's been going on since 2011. It could feel like you're being tested. And that's not easy, my friends. So this is why I wanted to do this video for you. So in part one, I'm going to share with you what can you expect from Neptune retrograde at 29 degrees of Pisces. How can you best work with these energies? I want to give you some tips for navigating this time. And I'm going to let you know who will be feeling this transit most personally and most intensely. And in part two of the video, I will be doing readings for all 12 signs, letting you know where Neptune is retrograding in your chart, which area of life is being activated, and as always, pulling an oracle card for each of the 12 signs as well. How you're feeling this transit on a personal level will depend on how the transit is touching any planets or points in your chart, but we're all going to be feeling this collectively for sure. If you're not already, I certainly am. As always, I encourage you to watch the first part of this video where I go through the transit and how it's affecting all of us, because this is the nitty gritty. This is like part one of your readings. This is where I share the tips on how you can work with these energies to your advantage. So before we go further, I want to say hello and welcome if you're new to me. I'm so glad you found this channel. We are a like-minded community. If you're looking for your tribe and you want to feel empowered through astrology, be sure and subscribe so you don't miss a video. Welcome back to those of you who've been watching my videos. I am super grateful for you. Happy Sunday to all of you who are joining us in the chat every Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. You are warmly welcome to join us. This is when my videos generally premiere and when we gather together in the chat. I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer as well as an intuitive life coach and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. In my videos, as well as my professional astrology consultations, I weave together spiritual insights, divine downloads, and Western tropical astrology. Stay tuned till the end of the video. I will be telling you more about my astrology consultations as well as a free gift that I have for you. I love writing about the astrology between videos, the astrology of the week. So if you'd like to get my free updates, my inspirational astrology updates, go to my website, sign up, and you will get that free instant download immediately. Now, to understand the importance of this cycle of Neptune moving through Pisces, I want to go back for a moment and give us the big picture helicopter view. Neptune has been traveling through the ethereal water sign of mystical Pisces since 2011. And it will be here through 2026, with the exception of its entrance into Aries for several months beginning March of 2025. So Neptune transits through a sign for about 15 years, and it's a 185-year cycle, which means that after Neptune finishes out in Pisces, it will not come back for another 185 years. So yes, this is a once-in-a-lifetime transit. And the sign that Neptune is cycling through tells us about what we're learning, what we're growing through, how our soul is evolving, our spiritual lessons, if you will. Because Neptune has been in the mutable, meaning changeable, where we have to be flexible Pisces, go with the flow, ride with the tide, the last sign of the zodiac where things tend to dissolve, where we have to release and let go of things even though we don't want to, a sign in which we really have to trust the process. Wherever Neptune has been transiting in your chart, my friend, you could have had a lot of change, a lot of transitions, a lot of starting something only to see it go. One step forward, two steps back. You could have felt like you've had to release a lot in this area of your chart and you've had to deal with loss. This is the area of our charts where we've really had to surrender and let go, trust the process, and tap into our divine source, tap into faith. Neptune is associated with the ideal vision. It's a visionary planet. It is the dream that you have for your deepest fulfillment. And because it's associated with something that means so much to us, that is so connected to our hearts, the thing that we want the most, many of us, because of this, we get attached. As humans, we get quite attached to having what we want in the transiting Neptune area of our charts. And yet, Neptune in Pisces requires that we let go, surrender, and detach. So there's the rub. Neptune in Pisces requires that we tap into our spiritual knowing, that we deepen our connection with the divine. And not coincidentally, synchronistically, during this Neptune and Pisces period is when I published my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling, which is all about partnering with your soul. And this is what Neptune and Pisces encourages us to do. This has been part of our spiritual growth and lessons during this time, was to really realize that we're spiritual beings having a human adventure, and that we can be guided by the divine. And because Neptune and Pisces can just wash away, can just take out into the ocean what we most wanted, we've really had no choice, many of us, but to go to our divine source for answers, for guidance, to navigate a time where we really needed answers. One of the beautiful things about Neptune being in Pisces is that Pisces is its home sign. So it's particularly powerful here and potent for helping us with the spiritual growth that we've been going through. You've probably heard that Neptune is the realm of the ocean. No boundaries, no limits. In the ocean, we are all one. We are all drops of water in this eternal ocean, right? So since 2011, we've also been opening up to this truth that we are vast, that we're unlimited. This has been very encouraging for us, dreaming a new dream, tapping into our co-creative abilities, realizing that we co-create our reality, that we are the magicians of our life. And a lot of spiritual modalities have really blossomed during this time. More people are into meditation. Many more people are doing yoga than ever before. Those things are now mainstream. Astrology, tarot, Reiki, so many different modalities for awakening, for healing, for emotional healing especially, have really mushroomed. So Neptune in Pisces is connected to deep bliss. It's connected to trust and faith in the divine, devotion to our spiritual path. But what we call the lower octave of Neptune in Pisces can be detachment from reality, unhealthy fantasy, where reality just feels too harsh. So we escape into addictions or whatever we do to numb ourselves, whatever we do to not have to feel often painful feelings. This is where we can just do something that takes us away to another realm. And then when we return to this reality, we can have a harsh wake-up call. So this is why Neptune in Pisces is also associated with disillusionment and feeling defeated, self-doubt, disappointment, feeling disempowered, all those dis words, right? We can be really hard on ourselves with Neptune and Pisces. Have you noticed this? We can be so hard on ourselves. We can expect way too much. We're trying to reach this ideal. We're trying to reach, in some cases, nirvana, or just we have this beautiful vision that we put on our vision board, or we've scripted out, we've affirmed it over and over, and then where's the reality? Why is it not happening? Why am I not manifesting? Am I just not a good manifester? It can bring up a lot of anxiety and worry and stress, thinking that we're not doing it right. So our emotions can run the gamut from this deep bliss to deep, deep sorrow. And in Pisces, I have to say, it's the last sign of the zodiac. It is the end of a cycle. This is when we are often transitioning to something new, but we don't know what the something new is yet. And so we feel a loss often of something being taken away, something ending. Something is dissolved, or removed. Without our consent. We didn't sign up for it. We didn't order it off the menu. We didn't say, yes, take this away. Now, sometimes we do. Sometimes we say, yes, I don't want this anymore. I'm done with this. You know when you're done with something with Neptune and Pisces, when you're just like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care. You feel it at a soul level. At a soul level, it's often something we put too much time and energy into. We've over-sacrificed, we've over-given, and we're like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I am so done. You know when you reach that point. But one of the spiritual lessons we learned during Neptune and Pisces that you may have learned, my friend, let me know in the comments below, is that there are ebbs and flows to life. We learn that life is not linear. Life doesn't move in a straight line. It's not, okay, I figured out what I wanted and then I'm there. That's not how life works. We've learned that. There's a maturing that happens during a Neptune transit. We also learn that nothing is permanent, that the only thing that's permanent is change, and we learn that we have to flow with the change, that life moves in cycles and that all beginnings have endings, that nothing except our eternal nature stays the same forever. And it's hard because we don't have control. Our egos want control. Our egos attach to what we want, but we don't have control. We can't keep things the way we want them. We have to surrender. We have to release and let go. So what is the point of this journey? Why are we doing all of this? What have we gained? We have, quote unquote, ascended. We are in a new timeline. We are more self-loving, most of us, than we've ever been before. We're more compassionate. We've healed a lot emotionally. We are more psychically attuned. Chances are you've strengthened your intuitive abilities and you're able to experience the richness of the ethereal realms, the magic of life, the synchronicities, the full body chills moments, right? The stuff you can't make up. Those are some of the gifts that we've gotten. Now we've also become more sensitive. And when you're more sensitive, your constitution can be more delicate. I know that's not true for everyone, but some of you may feel like it's harder to be in the real world. It's harder to be around really loud sounds, pollution. You could feel like physically you become more sensitive. Things or people or situations that weren't toxic for you before are now toxic to you. Now, I believe big picture that the most important lesson of Neptune and Pisces is to love ourselves unconditionally. When the reality of life does not match your ideal, does not match your fantasy, when you feel let down, when something happens that you weren't expecting, when you have a loss, can you love yourself through it? Can you be there for yourself? Can you have your own back? Can you treat yourself like the precious, pure love soul that you are, the way you would treat a small child? If your child studied really, really hard for a test, for example, they studied so hard and then they come home in tears saying that they failed the test. This is going to make me cry. If that happened, how would you treat that child? Most likely you would put your arms around them and you would hug them and you would empathize and you would say, I'm so sorry this happened to you. This is Neptune and Pisces energy. This is where we are super empathic, highly sensitive to the feelings of others. And we give ourselves that TLC regardless of what's going on in our lives, especially because of what's going on in our lives. We become more self-loving and loving of others, compassion, forgiveness, and boundaries. I have to throw boundaries in there because boundaries are very, very important in Pisces energy. Otherwise, we're no good to anyone else. I feel that Neptune and Pisces has been one of the most intensive Earth school periods that we've had. Tell me if you relate to this, my friend. You've done shadow work. You've done inner child healing work, many of you. You have worked on programming your subconscious mind. You have really increased your self-love. You have worked on giving yourself more compassion and forgiveness for any past mistakes. Because make no mistake, Neptune and Pisces brings in past life karma for us to heal. Now, who will feel this transit of Neptune retrograde in Pisces most personally, most intensely? Neptune will be retrograding from 29 to 27 degrees, 29 to 27 degrees of Pisces. So those of you who have planets or points between 29 and 27 degrees of Pisces or the other mutable signs of Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius, you'll feel this transit most intensely. And also those of you who have planets or points between 0 and 1 degrees of the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra, you will also feel this transit most personally. But it is collective. We're all going to be feeling it, and you may already be feeling it now. And when Neptune stations retrograde, as it did on July 2nd, this is when we get to apply the lessons that we've been learning over the past 14 years. This is when we can have the karmic consequences to our past actions show up. Now, karmic consequences can be, according to our human selves, good or painful. It can be that a dream of yours that you've been working on for some time is finally manifesting. After all, Pisces rules our creativity. We are super imaginative, super creative, super artistic in Pisces energy. So you could have been working on developing, building a dream all of this time, and now you're seeing it manifest. Now you're seeing things line up, things coming together. It's happening for you. At the same time, you could also be experiencing something that was hidden or dormant, revealed. A truth comes to light. For example, a health diagnosis. Why do I say health? Specifically because Pisces rules illness. So you could have put off seeing the doctor for something specific, or you could have said, oh, that's nothing. I'm not going to worry about that. It's probably nothing. And then it turns out to be something. And I have deep compassion for you if that happens for you, my friend, especially if it's serious. But Neptune in Pisces retrograde requires us to do the homework, any homework that we've been putting off. And you may have felt this during the July 21st Capricorn full moon, because that full moon squared Neptune. You could also experience a flare-up of any addictive or unhealthy patterns during this time. You could realize, oh, I'm overdoing this, or I'm overindulging, or I'm giving too much to this, or I've been hiding too much. I've been hiding my light. I'm not facing reality in this area of my life. So this is the time for us to really be real, to really face what we haven't been facing, to show up. What is that saying? Suit up, show up. And to really be present to our messages. Now, this is not the kind of suit up, show up that maybe Capricorn energy would tell you to do. No, this is more, how can you show up for that tender part of yourself, the soft animal of your body, as Mary Oliver puts it? How can you show up for that part of you who's been afraid to face something, who's been afraid of this particular loss, for example? How can you show up for that part of you with compassion, with love, with empathy, with a depth of presence? And this takes courage. This takes a lot of courage to do. I need to acknowledge that. How can you show up for that child part of you, for example, with sweet love and affection? Because this is the recipe. If I were going to give you one tip for this transit, it would be to deepen your self-compassion, empathy, and love. And I say self because this is where it all begins, right? All love is self-love. All love begins with self-love. Remember that you're learning. This is Earth School. We are on a learning journey. We are beginners in many areas of our life. We are beginners. Or we're beginners at this layer of learning, at this soul lesson perhaps. We're just learning it now. So we wouldn't expect ourselves to be experts at something in this physical life that we haven't done before. And the same is true for our spiritual lessons. So here are things not to do. Just say no to beating yourself up. It can feel quite dramatic at times. If any of your planets or points are receiving challenging aspects from this Neptune transit, beware of any ego response. Ego response would be, survival mode. Beware of any response that is in the realm of catastrophic thinking, like, oh, I'm permanently screwed, or like, I wanted this and now I can't have it. Now I'm doomed forever. This is not true. There are workarounds. There are new solutions. But first we have to let ourselves grieve anything that we were holding on to tightly. We have to let ourselves shed the tears, or however we grieve, we have to let ourselves release the old before we can open up to the new. And I love too that after we have released and let go, we've accepted, we've come to terms with what is going on, then we can do our research. We can study those who have been through terrible losses and come back stronger, more successful. There are thousands of stories online alone about people who have done this. And because Neptune has been in this area of your chart since 2011, you have probably already had one or more, some of you many, experiences of letting something go, of something not turning out the way you expected it to, of something ending. I know that I've had Neptune transiting through my 9th and 10th houses. Many of you will have the 29 degrees of Neptune in your chart straddling 2 different signs. So yes, you could have been on this spiritual ascension growth journey in more than one area of your life. But for me, it's gone through my 10th house and is still in my 10th house of career. And I've had many iterations of my career since 2011, all in the healing arts, all in coaching and astrology. But I've had many stops and starts to my work during that time. And it has not been easy, but I've had to do the Neptune and Pisces thing, the ride with the tide, the go with the flow. That sucks. Why is that ending? Okay, I guess I can shift in this direction instead. That's been my experience, and that's likely been your experience wherever Neptune has been transiting in your chart. This is where we've received, as my colleague Darren Wiseman calls it, gifts in strange wrapping paper. I love that phrase. Without these gifts in strange wrapping paper, we wouldn't have gotten to the place of self-devotion, self-love, self-honoring, the boundaries that we've set, the learning that we've gotten of how our well-being, our emotional well-being is our foundation. This is the biggest lesson I've gotten with Neptune in Pisces, is that my emotional well-being is the most important thing. And when I allow myself to stay in a place of anxiety or self-doubt or fear, or sorrow even, for too long, when I don't attend to processing those emotions, I'm not being self-loving. That is us abandoning ourselves. So this is the biggest lesson that I've learned. If I allow myself to be in these low vibration emotions, and yes, we have to let ourselves grieve. Yes, we do. But if I allow myself to focus on the loss rather than move through the feelings and move on to what's next, I'm not being self-loving. This is what I've learned. So as a result of the gifts in strange wrapping paper, the things that have left, the losses and so on, the things that haven't lasted when I wanted them to last, and this is true for all of us, as a result of these gifts in strange wrapping paper, this is how we have evolved. This is how we have ascended. This is how we have grown and healed emotionally. So because Neptune is at 29 degrees, the anaretic degree, which is a more intensely felt degree, you may find yourself reviewing your dreams. You may find yourself asking, is the vision that I had 10 years ago still the same vision, or even 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago? Is this still where I want to go? Is this still my same trajectory? Or is there a new dream? Is there a new dream? Is there, some of you may feel tired. Some of you may just feel like, I'm exhausted. This last chapter has been too hard. I don't want to keep doing this. That would be very natural during this time. This really is a time of reassessment of our dreams, of our visions, of our ideal day, our ideal life. Whatever we've got our eye on, this is a time that many of us, reassessing, rethinking, reviewing. Now, if you're feeling tested by something that has come to light during this Neptune retrograde, I want to give you this tip, which is, after you process your feelings, can you zoom out? Can you zoom out, get the higher perspective, as though you're standing on the top of a mountain looking down on your life? Can you zoom out and ask yourself, when I transition, when I'm on the other side, will this be important? Because chances are anything that is shifting in our lives right now or during this retrograde period, anything that's coming to light, is not going to be important to us when we transition. The fact that we didn't buy that stock, the fact that we shouldn't have taken that job, or maybe we're having regrets about a relationship, or maybe we really wish we had taken better care of our health. It's going to be different for all of us, but the question is, when you're doing your life review on the other side, how important will it be? Or will it be more important that you responded to the difficult thing with deep love and compassion, that you were there for yourself, that you didn't self-abandon, that you put your arms around yourself, either physically or metaphorically, and attended to your needs, attended to what was most important to you? And super significant, that you forgave yourself. Remember, Earth School learning curve, beginners. Can we forgive ourselves for not being perfect at something? Can we forgive ourselves for being asleep at the wheel? Can we forgive ourselves for sweeping something under the rug? Because we're always doing the best we can in the moment with the resources that we have. Because as you give yourself this unconditional self-regard, this unconditional empathy, you become less afraid in the future of facing the thing that feels so hard. And we don't have to have all the answers. This is something it's so important for our human selves to remember. We don't have to have all the answers. That is where Neptune in Pisces is really strong, is us tapping into our divine guidance for answers. Our spiritual source. We were not thrown under this earth and, that whole idea of like thrown into the water and swim if you can, and if not, well, sorry. No, that was not the divine plan. We were given that connection. I see this cord coming out from the top of my head, connecting me to divine wisdom. We were given that connection so that we could get the answers that we needed when we felt like we were floundering around in the water and not able to swim. So I want to give you a few more tips for working with this energy. You could feel an emptiness or a void. Remember that we are headed for a brand new beginning in March when Neptune moves into fiery brand new beginnings Aries. We're going to be pioneering something new with Neptune and Aries. Remember, Neptune is the dream, our ideal scenario. In Aries, this is something that we are going to be mustering courage to do. This is us taking a leap, doing something that ignites our hearts. So this is exciting. So right now you could feel like you're in between worlds. You could feel like you need extra sleep. And when we're in between worlds, this is a good time to be journaling. This is a good time to be doing those exercises that help us to build our courage. This is a good time for us to be doing guided meditations. And I have a lot of exercises for you to do that in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. I also have several guided meditations in a playlist on YouTube that I will link to in the description box below. You could have divine epiphanies in your dreams. This is the time to act on them. This is the time to apply them. If you feel especially uncertain, because we are in a time of uncertainty, many of us, if you feel that way, then a gratitude practice can really ground you. The very basic things of life, the fact that you have a bed to sleep on if you do, or the fact that you have the food that you need to eat, whatever it is, the fact that you can feel the sun on your body, that you can smell the cedar of the trees. This is what I'm experiencing where I'm living now. The basics of life, a gratitude practice like that can really ground you and bring you back to this reality, which really helps with the Neptune transit. And just remembering, and this is really important too, to just remember that an old self is dissolving, an old self is leaving. If something is leaving your life, you're not in alignment with it anymore, even if you don't understand why. You're not in vibrational alignment with it anymore, or it's teaching you a lesson in this Earth School learning curve that is going to take you forward and bring you a lot of success in the future. Just because you mess something up, so to speak, and I'm feeling this too, my friend. If you are, you're not alone. Just because you wish you would have done something differently does not mean that you're out of luck. It means that you are on a new trajectory and now you're opening up to other options. And those options could even be better. For all we know, those new options could take us to a better place. Now, the biggest gift of this Neptune retrograde that we can create for ourselves is a new inner narrative, a new inner story. For example, if your old narrative has been something like, no matter what I do, I can't get ahead. I can't win for trying. I'm confused and I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I keep trying, but I'm still failing. I can't have what I want. In other words, if your focus is on a loss rather than where you are headed, if you are feeling disempowered or victimized, or you find yourself blaming your life circumstances or blaming other people or yourself, especially yourself, this is the time to shift that inner narrative. We are moving into a new spiritual identity. If we choose, we have to choose this. And if the loss is palpable enough for you, then that gives us the incentive, right, to create a new spiritual identity. And when I say spiritual identity, I'm talking about the words I am, the most powerful words in the English language, I am. For example, I am a winner. I was lost, but now I'm found. I am beyond wise. I am strong enough to handle this. I'm learning to rise up and love myself through anything that goes on in my life, including this. I am infinitely loved and lovable, and life has my back. And probably most important with Neptune and Pisces, I'm sourced in the divine, I am creating my best life, and I can't even help myself. So let's do the 12 sign readings now. Listen for your rising sign, as this is most accurate in terms of where Neptune is transiting. You can also listen to your sun sign and your moon sign for further intuitive messages. So let's start with Pisces, because Pisces, Neptune has been transiting in your sign since 2011. It is now at 29 degrees. And those of you who have planets or points in these high degrees must be feeling this, especially because the first house where Neptune has been transiting is your house of identity. This is the spiritual identity that I was speaking about in part 1 of this video. And this is what the divine has been evolving you to create a new identity, a new sense of who you are. Those words, I am, an empowering sense of self that matches the truth of who you really are, Pisces. With a Neptune transit in the first house, especially in Neptune retrograde, this is where something can come to light that you didn't see before, and it could involve your vitality, your health. It could involve roles that you play, whether they are roles like parent and child, or brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, and so forth. Often a Neptune transit in the first house is where we're getting a sense of who we really want to be. This could have been a very spiritual transit for you, and I know it's not over yet, but when I say could have been, you could have been experiencing over the past 14 years a real awakening, a real deepening of your spirituality, a real deepening of the sense of who you actually are, your dharma, who you came here to be. And this could have had you change careers even, or change relationships. So now that Neptune is retrograde at the very last degree, 29 degrees, you could be feeling a shift. You could be feeling, like I said, something has come to light. Something is showing up that feels like it's leaving, it's dissolving. There's something you maybe don't care about anymore. There's something you're ready to wrap up. This is Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. This is often a culmination or an ending. You could have felt a real transition in your career, for example, or a real transition in, for example, my daughter, who's a Pisces rising, she's become a full-time mom, and she has a thriving career, but that career has shifted because she has 2 babies and a 3rd one on the way. So you could have experienced a transition, or be experiencing a transition that is affecting how you think about your identity, how you think about the roles, having you say goodbye to a role, or shift a role, or transform how you do your life in the world. And that then reflects back on how we think about ourselves. So big picture, this transit is encouraging all of us, if we're not feeling empowered during this transit, it's encouraging all of us to craft a new narrative, a new story about who we are, that is based on the truth of who we are, that is based on the fact that we are unlimited spiritual beings having a human experience, and that we can create what our hearts most want. And that's on a spiritual timeline, right? It's not always on our human timeline. It often takes a lot longer. I know it has for me, a lot longer to manifest some of these things than we thought it would take. But these are your marching orders, Pisces. If you find yourself in a time of shift, transition, loss, pain even, that you give yourself the love, the compassion, and the empathy that you would want to receive from anyone else, that you would be confiding in about what you're going through. So let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. And you could also have a manifestation here. Something could be really working out for you. Something could be coming to fruition here as well for you, because this is a transit, as I said in part 1 of this video, this is a transit where things are getting very real, and you could really feel like, I have ascended. I'm in a new timeline now. I'm not in the same place that I was before. This really is a different me. You could feel like this is a different me after all the inner soul growth, evolutionary work that you've done, Pisces. So let's see what the cards have to say for you. Pisces. Your card is, oh, I love this. The Medicine Guardian, be open to healing information. Because this is your first house, you could have gone through a health crisis. Some of you could be dealing with something having to do with your health or a heart healing. You could be healing your heart. You could be healing on any level, physical, emotional, mental health, and your physical health. So Archangel, I think this is Archangel Raphael, the Medicine Guardian. Call on Archangel Raphael for information about what you can do to shift your health, if that resonates for you, Pisces. And if not, listen to your own intuition. What does your own intuition say about this card? Maybe some of you are healing from a deep heartbreak that you could have had in past lifetimes. We are healing things across lifetimes during this Neptune and Pisces retrograde. So if this resonates, beautiful Pisces, leave me a comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear. Aquarius, Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius, you are experiencing a Neptune in Pisces retrograde in your second house of self-esteem, self-love. This is the house of material security, and it connects to our earned income. It connects to the money that we're making, our prized possessions, so to speak. It connects to the things that make us feel more secure in the world, and especially how we are feeling worthy or unworthy of the things that we most want. This very much is tied to self-worth, whether we feel like we're earning what we should be earning, whether we feel that we are secure in the things that we most need, physically speaking. So this is where you could be, where we're all being encouraged to craft a new narrative, a new I am sense, a new story about our lives, about who we are. Listen to part 1 of this video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I go into it at length, then I give different examples. But in the second house area, this could be like, I am earning what I deserve. I am victorious in terms of my job or my income, or I am valuable. I am worthy of the things that I most want. Starting with those words, I am, can be super helpful. Now, during this time, you could also have something manifest, something come to fruition. This is a getting real transit. This is where we come out of fantasy into reality, or where our fantasies become reality, where we do see the fruition, we do see the results of our efforts. That could be happening as well. It will be different for everyone, but whatever happens for you here, it will affect your sense of security. It will heighten your sense of material security. You will feel more rooted. This could be a very physical thing for you. This could be you've been meditating, you've been doing a spiritual practice, you've been spending more time in nature, you've been doing breath work, you've been doing something that has made you feel more rooted, and that has helped your ability to earn what you most want to earn, or to feel more materially secure in the world. That could be happening too. But this is the time, if you haven't already, beautiful Aquarius, to claim your ability to create the material security that you most need and want. So let me shuffle for you and see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Aquarius, for your Neptune and Pisces retrograde. Aquarius, your card is the Knight. Be brave and honest. So when I look at this card, I see a deeply spiritual, this is a deeply spiritual image to me. This is, I know who I am. I am going inward. I'm reflecting. I am seeing the truth of my soul. I am connecting with my pure love spirit. I am trusting in my path. I am trusting the divine. I am taking the time to really deepen my connection with the divine, if that will help me to be brave and honest. It does take bravery, it does take courage to handle any sort of challenge during a Neptune retrograde. So if you're experiencing that, this is a call to deepen your courage, to borrow courage from your higher self, to borrow courage from the divine, to ask the divine for support. Beautiful Aquarius, If this resonates, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. You have everything you need. Everything you need. And you deserve, Aquarius, you deserve to receive all that your heart most deeply desires. Capricorn, hello, beautiful Capricorn. Beautiful Capricorn, you are experiencing the Neptune in Pisces retrograde in your third house, which is your mindset and communication first and foremost. This is important because we are being encouraged during this transit to craft a new narrative, a new inner narrative, if you haven't done so already, that is empowering, that makes you feel like you are succeeding, that is helping you to move through what could have felt like a quite discombobulating transit. True for all of us, wherever Neptune has been transiting in our chart. There have been, as I spoke about in part 1 of this video, there have been a lot of ebbs and flows, a lot of transitions. Could have felt like one step forward, 2 steps back in this area, in the third house area, which is your local environment. So you could have moved several times. You could have moved your office. You could have changed friend groups. You could have done yoga here and then there, or gone to the gym here and then changed that, or changed up. You could have had a lot of change in this area of your life, which is all your errands. It's everything that you do on a daily basis. It's all of your comings and goings and your networking and your conversing, your emailing, your talking with other people. Especially neighbors, aunts, uncles, and cousins, they fall within this house. Also, what falls within this house is your devices and your vehicles. So you could have bought a new car during this time, but also your social groups could have changed. And if you're now experiencing, or if you do during this transit, anything that feels like a loss or feels like a setback, we are being very much encouraged to change our narrative, to give ourselves extra love, self-love, compassion, and empathy, which is going to strengthen your self-trust, Capricorn. This transit is about strengthening your self-trust. And you are getting a sextile from this energy, which is quite lovely. It is solutions, it's positive movement forward, it is new opportunities. If you have planets or points in your sign, Capricorn, between 27 and 29 degrees, you're getting a sextile, and that is quite beautiful. Now, if you have planets or points between 0 and 1 degrees of Capricorn, that's a square. So that's tension, but it's also motivation, the motivation we often need to make a positive change. So what is your new narrative? What is your new I am statement? An emotion or quality that makes you feel empowered and able and strong and wise and ready to handle any challenge that this transit may bring to you in your spiritual ascension journey, beautiful Capricorn. That's what this transit's about. So let me pull a card and see what the cards have to say for you. Capricorn. Your card is the Warrior. Yes, I love this. Be proactive and stand strong. Be fearless and stand strong. Okay, Spirit is saying proactive too. Because why would I get the word proactive from the word fearless, right? I mean, yes, I could be wearing glasses right now, but come on, they don't, well, you get the idea. So what I love about this card is the green. I love his green earring. I love the fact that it is connected to the heart, and fearlessness and standing strong are our heart speaking to us, is our soul's way of giving us the messages that we need to be true to ourselves. This card is about being true to yourself and not wavering where you know something is right for you, beautiful Capricorn. These are your marching orders. If this resonates, let me know. Leave me a comment. You will inspire all of us. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Okay, Sag, thank you for always making me laugh. You are having this transit of Neptune in Pisces retrograde through your 4th house, of home, family, and childhood conditioning. So Sag, correct me if I'm wrong, during this transit that's been going on since 2011, you probably have done some inner child healing work. You probably have done some healing work around your family or around experiences that happened to you when you were very young. You may have healed some trauma, and often that childhood experience is a recreation from a past life or across lifetimes. So that's very, very significant work. Some of you could have done some ancestral healing work, programming your subconscious mind. And this is ultimately what this transit is really helping us do, is to reprogram our subconscious mind with more affirmative ways of seeing ourselves, but also with more compassion, self-love, self-forgiveness. This area of your chart is the area of your emotional wellness. It is the bottom of your chart. It's the most personal area of our chart. It is our foundation, our inner foundation of our emotional well-being. So this is where we are all being encouraged. All of you Sages are being encouraged to craft a new narrative, and your narrative will be around how you see yourself and your emotional well-being. So, and the really big picture, this is about emotional security. This is the house of roots and acceptance and belonging. And so your soul with Neptune here, wherever we have Neptune transiting our chart, that is the dream that we're having, the current dream that we're having, where we want fulfillment, where we want something really beautiful to come to fruition. So this could be around a home that you want, or this could be around how you want your home sanctuary to feel, or a healing with a family member, or a chosen family that you're creating. Big picture, this is about feeling at home in your own skin and feeling at home with your loved ones or with people that you hang out with. It can be friendships too. Whatever feels like home and family to you. This is what you've been working with, Sag. And I know someone very close to me who's Sag rising, who's been doing some of this sort of core wound, inner child healing work, and has really seen a difference. So I hope that if you've been doing that work, you've seen a difference as well. It's not too late to craft a new I am statement, a new narrative of the quality or emotion that you want to create your life with. If you're feeling disempowered, if you're feeling like you've lost something, if you're feeling like you can't win for trying, this is the time to be like, I am a winner. I am victorious. I am wise. I am stronger than ever. I gave you a lot of different examples in the first part of this video as well. So let us pull a card for you, Sag, and see what the cards have to say. And if there was something that you didn't see before this retrograde, because this retrograde may bring something to light that was hidden or dormant in the fourth house, it could be around family or home, or you could have a dream. You could have a dream at night that wakes you up to something around your relationship with your mother, especially, or your father as well. Okay, so Sag, let's see what the cards have to say for you. And some of you may be manifesting a new home right now. This can also have a really beautiful, positive, what we as human selves see as a positive manifestation. The peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. So Sag, this is not going to resonate for everyone, but for those of you who have been stubborn perhaps, or who have dug your heels in with someone close to you, this is saying it's time to be more fluid, be more flexible, be more adaptable, not to compromise away what's most important to you, but where your ego may be attached to seeing things a certain way or to negotiating something with someone, to try and detach, to let go of the rope. Or this card could be acknowledging your beautiful peacekeeping nature, the fact that this is part of your identity, this is part of what you bring to the world, or that it's time to incorporate this into your identity if you haven't acknowledged it before. So beautiful Sag, let us know if this resonates in the comments below. I would love to hear. Scorpio, hello beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are having this transit of Neptune retrograding in Pisces in your fifth house, and the fifth house is the house of creativity, play, fun, inner child delight. This is where we listen to our inner child as our muse. This is where we kick our heels up, we have more fun, we relax more. This is true love and romance too. So when you have Neptune transiting your fifth house, you could have been or are now really dreaming about an ideal love, or dreaming about an ideal life with children, or about a creative project that feels out of this world wonderful. This is where we often sort of go into this place of fantasy and dreaming and daydreaming about what we could create that will really light us up or light up the world, what we want to share with other people. So any of those things could really resonate for you. You could be having during this Neptune retrograde a blossoming of your creativity, a blossoming of love, or something coming to fruition, because this is where we're getting the consequences of our karma. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It can be positive or challenging. It's different for all of us. If it's challenging, we want to be extra loving and compassionate with ourselves. Any challenging event that happens during this time, such as a breakup, someone you've been dating, maybe someone you thought was going to be your lifelong love, and then it turns out they're not, or maybe you publish a book and it doesn't turn out to have the huge success you wanted it to, or maybe a setback with a child. Any challenging thing that's happening is a setup, is a spiritual setup for us to deepen our self-love and compassion. It's all about deepening self-love, compassion, and forgiveness. And as I'm saying that, I get this real feeling of quiet and spiritual presence. So Scorpio, I invite you to take in a nice deep breath and connect to your spiritual presence, connect to the divine, and feel the feelings of being held. Allow the divine to hold you. Allow the divine to send spiritual waves of unconditional love through your crown into your body, because this is what you deserve. And this could be quite healing for you to do something like that more often, beautiful Scorpio. This is the time to craft a narrative, a new story of who you are in these areas of true love, romance, parenting for some of you, your ability to create what your heart most desires, your ability to have fun and experience joie de vivre and the zest of life. This is what you deserve. Beautiful Scorpio. So let me shuffle. Let me shuffle for you and see what the cards have to say. Scorpio, Neptune and Pisces retrograde. Your card is the Shaolin Master. I love this card. Be graceful in movement and action. I love this card. This is a very spiritual, a deep, deep card where he is putting his spiritual mastery into physical action. As he has the grasshopper on one side and the ball in the air on the other side, and he is creating a balance. He is bringing his spiritual knowing into his physical reality. And he is mastering this. And this really is a transit of self-mastery. It really is. It really is. You could really feel that. You could really feel like you are doing a dance with the divine, and you are applying all of the lessons or an important lesson that has been working with you, through you, during this transit of Neptune and Pisces since 2011. So let us know. And I love all of the orange in this card. That is creativity. That is Pisces. That is the soul lives in the hips, your second chakra of creativity, which corresponds to the 5th house. So how perfect is that? So let me know in the comments below, beautiful Scorpio, if this resonates. We would all love to hear. And also, Scorpio, you could have had a real challenge with parenting during this cycle, because Neptune is the ideal and parenting is hard. Parenting, in my view, is the hardest job that anyone will ever do. So I want to acknowledge, if any of you who've been on a real learning curve with parenting during this transit, you are not alone. Good for you for sticking with the path and really learning and growing through your challenges. Libra, hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, you are experiencing Neptune retrograde through your 6th house of wellness. It's everything that you do for your daily routines and schedules. It has to do with holistic health and your work. So this is your diet and your exercise and the things that you are tweaking and changing to be more healthy, to be more in alignment with your soul. Some of you could have been or are right now working through an addiction, working through releasing something from your daily intake that isn't healthy for you, or even changing the way you think, changing your those mental loops that we get, because that affects our mental health, our emotional health. And this sixth house is all areas of health. Also, you could have experienced a situation at work that felt toxic to you, and you could be leaving that behind, or you already left that behind, or you could realize, because when we have a Neptune retrograde, that's when we realize something. That's when we see something with real eyes that we didn't see before, and it gives us a chance to course correct. So some of you may leave a job during this time. Some of you may give your attention to your health specifically. You could, I'm sorry to say, if you have a health crisis, that would be very difficult. But if that happens, you will be sourced in divine knowing, wisdom, and the information you need to get through it. Call on your spiritual source if you need answers. Always, of course, seek the medical attention that feels most right for you, whether it's alternative health or Western medical providers, whatever is right for you, wherever your intuition is guiding you. Of course, always seek the advice and the expertise that will help you to heal, always. A Neptune transit here could have had you, or is having you, search for the ideal work. It could be searching for an ideal in physical wellness or in mental wellness or emotional as well. This is where we are really encouraged to craft a new narrative, as I spoke about in part 1 of this video, a new I am intention, a new story that is empowering. And that new story may have to do with your health or your work or your routines. And some of you may want more freedom, more flexibility. So you are really working to achieve that during this time. Whatever comes up for you, beautiful Libra, it's a time to apply compassion. It's going to be a catalyst, if it's difficult, to increase your self-love and compassion and awareness around what you most need to be happy and healthy, beautiful Libra. So let me pull a card for you and we'll see what the cards have to say. Libra, your card is the Mirror Guardian. Take time to reflect. I love this card. Do you see how she's looking at the stars? Or at the very least, the stars are sort of floating in the background. There is an illumination here. There is an awakening here. When you reflect, the Mirror Guardian wants to mirror back to you a truth, wants to show you something that you didn't see before. All of the blue is very throat chakra. It's air energy, which is what you are. Whether it's your rising sign or your sun or moon sign, it is your throat chakra, Libra. It's your ability to take care of you, to stand up for you, to not overcompromise, to not overgive, to keep that balance, to have the fairness in your life that is so important to you. As you reflect, you may realize that there's some place that you've over-sacrificed. There's some place where you've given more than you're receiving back. And this is where you may course correct your life so that it is more in alignment with your heart, with your fulfillment, with whatever your ideal is. Beautiful Libra. If this resonates, if this makes sense, if you're vibing with this information, with this reading, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are experiencing Neptune and Pisces retrograding at the very last degree in your house of committed partnerships. So when we have Neptune go through our 7th house, we are really looking at our ideal partnership. We are really seeing if there are cracks in the foundation of our partnerships. And when I say partnership, I don't just mean romantic. It is that. It is any relationship with whom you have a spoken or unspoken agreement to have each other's backs. So it could be in business, could be a business partner, could be an adult child. If your adult child is like a best friend to you or very close to you, it could be a boyfriend, girlfriend. It's a significant other, someone who's really significant in your life. And of course, this is the house of marriage as well. So some of you are seeing where a partnership has a crack in the foundation. Others of you are having a manifestation, or you are doing your vision board, you're scripting, you're writing to your soul partner. You are envisioning your partner. You are sending out waves of communication to your partner. Lots of different ways that you could be working with this transit. If you're having a difficult transit, it's time for more self-compassion. That is what Neptune retrograde, if we could just remember this, if we, and I'm trying to remember it too, if we could just remember that anything that feels scary, anything that feels hard, anything that feels painful, that is leaving or dissolving or isn't turning out the way we wanted it to, and that's scary to our egos. If we could just remember that it is a divine setup, so to speak, and I don't mean that it's not real. It's real. It is the divine, our own higher self, our own soul's plan to help us to increase our compassion and well-being and our sense of security in this physical world. That is what's going on in the background of all of this. So when we can have our own backs, when we don't self-abandon, when we show up for ourselves, when we say, I need more, I need help, I need assistance, this is a great time, could be a great time for you for coaching or therapy or getting an astrology consultation, anything that will help you to feel like you are not doing it all by yourself. And this is the time, beautiful Virgo, to craft an inner story or inner narrative that you can have the relationship you desire, that you can be successful, whatever success is for you in a partnership, that you can have the fulfillment, the emotional intimacy, the physical connection, whatever it is that you most want, that you can experience that. Very possibly it's everything, right? It's all the things that you want to experience in a partnership. So let me I have a couple other notes here. What does it say? Yes, to apply the unconditional loving presence of a devoted, wise parent, what you would give to your children or what you would want a devoted, wise parent to give to you or a best friend to give to you. So, beautiful Virgo, let me shuffle the cards for you and let's see what the cards have to say to you for this Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Your card is the Elder. I love this so much. This is so perfect. This is that devoted, wise parent archetype that I was just talking about. It says, move beyond ancestral patterns. Is there a pattern within you that you have been working to change? A pattern in a relationship, very possibly it's been coming up through relationships, showing itself to you, or you felt it within yourself. Ancestral healing. Whatever you heal does not have to then be passed down to the next generation. Beautiful Virgo. This is such important work. I know it's not easy work. I've done a lot of this ancestral healing work myself. It is not easy, but it's extremely important and valuable. And if your soul chose to do that, you are fully supported. And it's really going to make a difference in your partnerships going forward. So if this resonates, beautiful Virgo, leave me a comment. Let us know in the comments below. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo, beautiful Leo. You are experiencing a Neptune retrograde in Pisces in your 8th house of shared resources. It's a partnership and a money house. This is where we work with other people, where we often depend on other people depend on us. This is the house of your assets. It's real estate. It is investments. It is emotional and sexual intimacy. It's all the things that can trigger us emotionally, like taxes and loans and debts. And this is why it's the house of transformation, the house of death and rebirth, where we shed a skin, because it's where we attach to things emotionally and physically. We attach to things that don't always last, because nothing in life is permanent. We want it to be permanent as humans, but it's not permanent. And so, Leo, this is where you could be experiencing, with Neptune transiting here, you could have been experiencing, okay, what is my ideal committed partnership where we share resources? Or what's my ideal retirement? What does my ideal nest egg look like? Any of those things. This is the Neptune part of it. But now that Neptune is retrograde, you could be experiencing something coming to light that you didn't see before. For example, maybe you have a investment that isn't giving you the return that you want, or maybe you sold an investment and then you wish you hadn't sold it. I mean, there's a lot of things that could come up here. It's not just investments. It could have to do with any assets, but it can also have to do with you making a shift in a part, or having a shift, or having an awareness, something coming to light, something that was dormant in your partnership that now sort of rears up and shows you what needs your attention. Neptune transits are showing us what needs our attention. They're where if we've had blinders on, if we've had the covers pulled over our head, if we've had our head buried in the sand. It's amazing how many of those metaphors there are, right? We are, asked to get real. This is a get real transit. So things are getting very real for you in these areas of your life. And you're being very much encouraged and supported during this transit by Neptune retrograde to craft an inner narrative that makes you feel powerful. Because after all, this is also the house of power, where we want control. And you could feel like something is not within your control here. And this is where it's time to say, I am empowered. Like, I can always muster the inner resources to decide what's best for me in this area of my life, for example. Being flexible, being adaptable. You've had to be with Pisces energy in this house, Leo. But also, with Neptune here, you could be thinking about things like inheritances and winning the lottery, and something could be coming to fruition here that for you that's quite beautiful. So let's see, Leo, what the cards have to say for you. Leo, your card is, oh, I love this card. Mother Earth. Feel loved and comforted. Aww, the world is within you. Mother Earth is supporting you. This is so perfect, Leo, because this is a transformational transit that's happening in your house of power. And I feel that this card is reminding you that you are a child of the earth. You're not only a child of the divine, you're a child of the earth, and you are rooted here. And maybe if you don't already do this, doing a rooting practice where you put see yourself as an old growth tree and you put your roots into the earth and you bring up the nourishment of Mother Earth on a regular basis. Also, some of you could be pregnant with something. Some of you could be having a child, yes, but you could also be pregnant with a new dream, with a new spark, with a new relationship, you could really be building something that will stabilize your life more in this time of great instability. But big picture, this message of feel loved and comforted is saying you're not alone. Feel the comfort of Mother Earth. Feel the comfort of the divine. Know that there are many unseen beings that have your back, that are surrounding you. And I do have a guided meditation on my YouTube guided meditation playlist that will help you to reconnect with spirit, reconnect with your loved ones, and feel viscerally in your body that the truth that you are not alone and that you have many, many, many who love you unconditionally. Beautiful, Leo. If this resonates, let me know in the comments below. I will link to that guided meditation playlist in the description box as well. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. I have my moon and my rising in Cancer. And Cancer, you have been experiencing Neptune in Pisces traveling through your 9th house. Now, you could have Pisces in more than one area of your chart, as I do. I have it in my 9th and my 10th houses. So by now it could have moved into another house, which is true for everyone, regardless of sign. But if it's still in your 9th house, this would be your house of expansion. You've expanded tremendously on a spiritual level while Neptune has been in Pisces. Think back to 2011, beautiful Cancer. Are you the same person in terms of your spiritual growth that you were then, especially because you've been in this expansive period? Likely the answer is, I'm a whole new person. Maybe many, many times. Many of you could have had a spiritual awakening during this transit. It is the house of spiritual beliefs and faith, hope and optimism, new horizons, new adventures. Some of you could have taken an adventure to another country or multiple adventures, lots of travel to other countries. You could have a spiritually based business or vocation, or found new mentors, found new gurus. You could have done a lot of growth and healing and learning during this time. Some of you took programs during this time that were like metaphysically based programs of learning. And I say this all in past tense because we're going into a retrograde, but I mean, this could all be happening for you currently as well. This transit, the retrograde transit, is about getting real about your limits and realizing that for some of you, you've been putting time and energy into something that maybe you need to pull back a bit. Maybe you've been giving too much. Maybe you've sacrificed too much. This is a time to really get in touch with what is important to you on a spiritual level. And that could be your health as well. That could be not just, your spiritual health, but also any aspect of your health could be showing you a need for attention. And because this is the house of your philosophy and your spiritual beliefs, you could be crafting a new narrative, or you could be having a challenging situation that requires you to, or let's say requires not the right word, let's say strongly supports you to craft a new story about who you are, a new spiritual identity, beautiful Cancer, where before you felt like something. The thing is with Neptune and Pisces, as I said in part 1 of this video, we've had a lot of transitions where we've had Neptune and Pisces transiting. We've had a lot of transitions, a lot of what could have felt like fits and starts. It's more like ebbs and flows, but to the human part of us, it feels like fits and starts or setbacks. So because of that, we've been working through past lifetimes. We've been working through childhood stuff. Because of that, it's time for us to create a new narrative that matches who we are now, that matches how empowered we are now, our new self. So, and if by now, maybe this goes without saying, if by now Neptune has moved on to your 10th house, beautiful Cancer, of course, watch the Gemini reading instead, or as well. But now let's pull a card for you, beautiful Cancer. You could have had quite the spiritual awakening, or you could have done some really wild things during this transit where you're like out of body astral travel, things like that. Really elevating experiences you could have had or be having. So I love this card so much. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. The Heart Guardian, love and let yourself be loved. Cancer. Look at all the red and the rose. Love and let yourself be loved. Some of you, while Neptune has been in Pisces, could have healed from fantasies that never came to fruition. You could have realized that you put people on pedestals, or that you projected onto people things that weren't really true. And you could realize now the truth of who you are as a spirit of pure love, and someone that is now ready to love more deeply, or to be loved more deeply. And this is very healing to your heart. So beautiful Cancer, if this resonates, I would love to hear it. Let me know in the comments below. You will inspire all of us. Gemini, hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, you are experiencing a Neptune retrograde. Gemini risings through your 10th house of career. Now, as a Gemini sun, I am feeling this as well. This would be any changes, any sense of movement where you've had to be flexible, where you've had to be adaptable, where maybe you've experienced a lot of transitions, possibly setbacks in your area of career. This is where we want to leave a legacy, some of us, where we are passionate about what we do. This is the house of vocation. So if it's a career that you love, if it's connected to your dreams, if it's connected to how you want to spend your time, if it's fulfilling, or you've been working on it, making it more fulfilling, or you've started your own business, or you want to start a business, or you're ready for semi-retirement or retirement. If you're an entrepreneur, These all fall within this 10th house transit. With Neptune here, Gemini, since 2011, you've probably been working on your ideal career, on your ideal vocation, on your ideal, however you spend your time. The 10th house is the top of our chart, where we enjoy being recognized and honored, respected for what we do, where we tend to put our time, energy, and focus because it's something we love, often where we want to give back, often where we want to make a difference. Neptune retrograding here is having you look at, how am I doing this area of my life? Is it still a match for my energy? Am I overgiving? Am I over-sacrificing? And if you have a challenge, a career challenge here, Neptune is giving you a divine setup to course correct something. And especially a new narrative, a new story about the truth of who you are, that is based in your power, that is based in the fact that you can create what you want. You are the magician of your life, beautiful Gemini, and especially you with one foot in the ethereal world always, one foot in the physical world always. Not easy. I know as a Gemini sun, it's not an easy path because we're often pulled between the two worlds, right, Gemini? But it also gives you that alchemical, the power of an alchemist, of the magician, to turn dross into gold. So let's see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful Gemini. Some of you are having some manifestation come to fruition during this transit, and others of you are making a change, and others of you are really reflecting on whether this is what you still want. Some of you may start your own gig, your own business, do your own thing, or do it differently. Do it differently, perhaps. We're learning with Neptune and Pisces that we are not unlimited. It's so ironic because it's Neptune, which is the ideal, and Pisces, which is, you know, the fact that we are unlimited on a spiritual level. But on a human level, we do have to set boundaries. We do have limits. We can't do it all. And so we come sometimes face to face with our human limitations during a Neptune retrograde. Okay, Gemini. Gems, your card is the Hermit. Retreat and recharge. If you've been doing too much, if you need answers, if you are up against the wall, or you're experiencing a challenge or a loss, and I'm very sorry if you are, I know how that feels. If you are going through something, give yourself time to retreat and recharge and receive answers from the divine. You don't have to do it yourself. You have lots of divine helpers who can bring you the resources you need, Gemini, so you don't feel at a loss. You're not at a loss if you're going through a loss. You're in a prime place to receive. You are primed to receive exactly what you need, beautiful Gemini. Taurus, hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, you are experiencing Neptune and Pisces retrograde in your 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, long-term financial gains, friendships, social media platforms, your audience, your people, your supporters, your alliances. This is a house where with Neptune retrograde, as I spoke about in part 1 of this video, this is where things become real. We really see the rubber hits the road. We see the spiritual growth and lessons that we've been working on with the divine, deepening our divine connection, deepening our self-compassion, our self-love, our ability to forgive ourselves, our ability to be more intuitive, more psychic. We've been working on that all this time since 2011. And with this particular retrograde at 29 degrees, 29 to 27, this is when we are feeling it more intensely. You could be, and where you're being shown practical solutions and opportunities for change, where you need a course correction, where you can deepen your own self-love and compassion. You, Taurus, are getting a sextile from this Pisces energy, which is very helpful. You do have to take action, but you're being shown, you'll feel the need. You'll feel the need for where you need to make a change, and then you'll be given the resources and help and support and the divine guidance that you need to make that change. And so especially in friendships or in your social media or in, you know, where you've done meetup groups, any organizations, any communities that you belong to, this is where it will likely play out, where you'll really see if something is manifesting beautifully for you, or if there's a divine setup for you to make a change that is more in alignment with what you need. Beautiful Taurus. This transit is all about deepening our self-love and compassion and showing up for ourselves. If others aren't showing up for you, how can you show up for you in a new, more I've got your back, best friendship kind of way? How can you even more, Taurus, be your own best friend? And I know that's a trite saying, but it's really fitting here, especially in your 11th house of friendships. Unconditional self-love. That is your gold. That is the gold that strengthens every area of your life, Taurus, and especially your sense of security in the world. So a new narrative, a new I am statement that reflects the power, reflects your self-love, that reflects the truth of who you are. This is what is being encouraged during this transit. So Taurus, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Taurus, your card is the Moon. Take note of intuitive messages. You are getting divine messages. And I love that the Moon is here because this is our deep feminine intuition, our feminine nature. We have to meet the needs of our Moon. So you could even listen to your Moon sign, Taurus, if you haven't already. But this is saying, is there any need of your Moon that you're not fulfilling? The needs of our Moon are tied to our emotional security. Is there any relationship, friendship, group, or other alliance that you have wherever you've been investing time and energy that doesn't make you feel emotionally secure? And that could be where you are overgiving or over-sacrificing, or where you're not getting back what you're giving. This card is saying, tune into that. Commit to meet the needs of your Moon, Taurus. Commit to meeting the needs of your Moon. And this will depend on your Moon sign. Everyone has a different need based on their Moon sign. But I actually do have a separate video for you on that, that you can, I'll try to remember to link to it in the description box below, how to meet the needs of your specific Moon. And I have a reading for each Moon. But also, pay attention to the cycles of the Moon, the manifestational cycles, because you are a master manifester, Taurus. And those Moon cycles help us to manifest what we most desire. So beautiful Taurus, if this resonates, let me know. I would love to hear. Let us know in the comments below. Aries, beautiful Aries, thank you for your patience. Aries, you are experiencing the Neptune in Pisces retrograde in your 12th house of rest, retreat, and rejuvenation, the house of your mystical self. And of course, Pisces is the mystic. So this is a house, Neptune has been here since 2011, and this is a house where you could have done some deep programming of your subconscious mind. You could have really changed your thinking, especially in terms of how you see yourself and your power and your ability to create the life that you want. This is the house of divine connections. Most likely you really deepened your connection with the divine, or you're in the process of doing that. New spiritual modalities, meditation, releasing unhealthy escape tendencies. That's 12th house energy too. You could have done a lot of that as well, or some of that. Letting go of a coping mechanism, or just becoming more aware of where you have a tendency to escape and how it affects your life, and then course correcting or healing so that you could have a better life. Beautiful Aries. If you haven't done so already, and especially if you have planets or points in the high degrees of Pisces or the first couple of degrees of the cardinal signs, including your sign, you may feel very strongly pulled toward creating a new story about you, a new story about your life, about your empowerment, a new narrative, as we call it. You are mastering empathy. You're mastering self-compassion. You are mastering forgiveness of yourself and others. You're mastering the truth that you are a spiritual being here on training wheels in Earth School, as we all are, beautiful Aries. We're all, to a certain extent, using training wheels still. And so we have to give ourselves that deep compassion that we are beginners. We're beginners. And we have come a long way. You've come a long way, Aries. You've come a long way on your spiritual journey since 2011. So this is a beautiful time to do a soul journey, to do guided meditations, to do anything if you're seeking answers, if you're having a challenge, if you are experiencing a loss, if you're experiencing anything that isn't in alignment with your fantasy or your ideal of the way life should be. This is a beautiful time to go inside and get answers from the divine. Beautiful Aries. So speaking of answers from the divine, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Aries, your card is the High Priestess. Talk about answers from the divine. Oh my goodness. Aries, I love this. Harness your mystic power. The mystic is the 12th house. Yes, yes, yes. What a beautiful synchronicity. Harness your mystic power. Wow, wow, wow. This is really showing you the truth of who you are, Aries, that you are this beautiful mystical being. Do you resonate with being a mystic? I certainly do. I have my Mars in Aries, but I also have a stellium in the 12th house. I very much resonate with the mystical world and the fact that we are spiritual warriors and mystics. And here you are, Aries. Here you are using your mystical power, the power to shapeshift, the power to transform yourself, the power to transform your world, the power to heal yourself. And I love this cat. I love that she is holding what is like a wand or a dream catcher over the cat. And I feel like she's directing the cat, or she's receiving wisdom from the cat being downloaded through the spiritual realms, deepening her power to create the world she most wants, and most importantly, to love herself at a deeper level and trust herself, to come through any challenge with flying colors. And that's you, Aries. And by the way, watch part 1 of this video where I talk about Neptune moving into your sign, Aries, in March, moving into your sign. That will be very important for you. Brand new beginning and rebirth for some of you. So beautiful Aries, if this resonates, leave me a comment. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you for being here for this video. This is a very important transit. I speak about all of this in part 1 of this video. Go back and watch that if you haven't already. We are being charged with the mission of deepening our self-love and our compassion and rising to new levels in our ascension. A brand new timeline. It is getting real. Can you feel it? It is getting real. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your thumbs ups, for your likes, for your comments. I love hearing your comments, for your shares of this video, for your subscribes. Your subscribes have the power to send this video out to more people who love astrology, and you really help support my channel. Thank you for your donations, those of you who have donated. Thank you for your support in any way that you give back to my channel. I am super grateful to you. Thanks to those of you who've been with us in the Sunday chat. And if you would like to know how Neptune retrograde is activating your natal astrology chart, how it is transiting, and if it's making any connections to your planets or points, or any other transit that is happening right now, Pluto, Uranus, Saturn, how the outer planets are bringing changes or awakenings or challenges to your life, I would love to support you. Go to my website, check out my astrology consultations. We can do a natal chart reading, a heart's desire, a life purpose, a synastry, relationship reading, lots of choices on my website. Go check them out. It's easy to book. Choose your time zone, find a date and time that work for you, and I look forward to meeting you on Zoom. Check out the testimonials that other clients have shared, and you will get a sense of whether you feel called to work with me. to get your free gift, a free guided meditation, a soothing journey, connecting you with your divine source, connecting you with your spiritual guide. So perfect for this Neptune in Pisces retrograde transit. To get that free gift, go to my website, sign up for my free weekly inspirational updates, and you will get that instant download right away. Let me know how you're feeling this Neptune retrograde. Let me know how you're experiencing it, your thoughts on it. I would love to hear. Let us know in the comments below. And until my next video, my beautiful friend, I'm sending you all my love.